and white of St Ignatius, and they must be really keyed up. Lane 3 then is the King's School. Then to lane 4, Shore, the white and dark blue facings of Shore. Lane 5, Sydney Grammar School, the black and gold of Sydney Grammar. Lane 6 to St Joseph's College, the cerise blue. Lane 7 to Newington College, the white singlets with the black vertical stripe. And then across to lane 8, sitting there, you'll see not quite ready for a start yet, but the Scots College, the gold colours of the Scots College with the blue line, which you can't see, but it's a blue line on the front of the singlet.
Down at the start, the crews are in line. I just paused there for a moment to check on Scots on the far side. They were just, in fact, touching up. But it looks a pretty good line indeed for the start of this Major Rennie Trophy. GPS head of the river. Shaw just being asked to go back slightly. Shaw is perhaps at the moment the only crew that just needs to adjust its line. St Ignatius College, which is the crew in station number 2. Coxon, in fact, with his hand up. Back across to the centre. They're all looking pretty good, except St Joseph's in station number 6. Shaw just being asked to go back. Joseph's right. I've heard the comments passed to you about the conditions. They are absolutely tremendous. Yes, indeed. Everybody sit still as the final instructions. And well they can in these perfect conditions. There's one slight adjustment required. Newington been asked to come up just the barest of 2 feet. All crews hearing instructions quite clearly. Everybody still finally, are you ready? And the gun for the start of this magnificent 8-oared event. The GPS head of the river, and away the crews go. And after the first 3 or 4 strokes, starting to lengthen out and settle down, and a tremendous start indeed. As the crews come up broadside onto us as we come down this Nepean River on the eastern side of the course, what a tremendous sight it is as all crews get set to get out to the rhythm that and the rate that they require for the event. Very little between them, indeed about 6 bows across the course, making a magnificent picture as in fact you can see that slowly but surely just a slight ascendancy being taken by the Shore School 8. Shore School rowing in station number 4. In the white colours there, just moving slightly ahead after the first 20 or 30 strokes. A very good start by them. Alongside of them, King's School, perhaps dropping back into a slightly lower rate of striking almost immediately. And in station number 2, St Ignatius College, endeavouring undoubtedly to make certain of a win here today for the centenary of their school, going very strongly indeed. They started to respond to that little effort from Shore School, and in fact we now see St Ignatius College moving slowly ahead. John Coates, do you have a rating?
Yes, the rating of the St Ignatius College, they went out at 44, they've now steadied down at 38. Newington are at 39 at this stage, and I've got Shore at Scots at 40.
A tremendous legs effort appeared to be taken in the St Ignatius boat to bridge that gap of the initial start, and they're now perhaps just dropping their rating slightly, but still in station number 2, staying slightly clear of the King's School alongside of them. Not much between those 2 crews. St Ignatius in 2, King's in 3. King's perhaps just a little lower rate of striking, a little stronger in the water. When I say stronger, they seem to be taking a longer stroke in the water, and they're endeavouring at this point to stay right with the St Ignatius College 8. Kings in their training have been, we haven't seen a great deal of them at the lead-up regattas, and they've been suspected to be a very strong crew that had latent talents and that might display them today, and they certainly are doing this because that's where the race is developing at this point in time. In station number 3, we have Kings, alongside of them St Ignatius College, but over on the far side of the river, go across towards the western side, Shore School with that very good start is not out of it, nor is Sydney Grammar, going along very strongly in station number 5.
Well, Newing's the crew that would be just leading, if anything, there in station 7, and they've got their rating down around the 35. King's School in station 3, they'd be in second position, as you called it, and they too are on about 35. Then there's little separating the other 5 crews, and then back a little to High.
Interesting to hear you say that Newington's rate was down. Newington on that western side in station number 7. Newington rode at Ballarat and performed quite creditably and well, and I know that in their preparation they'd be expecting that on this particular river, the Nepean River, where the conditions are so dead, they'd have to have a low rate of striking and try and concentrate on all the power in the water. And Newington, over there in station number 7, is rowing very strongly indeed. They, in fact, are moving up to challenge the 2 early leaders, who were firstly St Ignatius, that's now dropped back, and King's School that has forged ahead. Kings have moved ahead with good application, good blade work, and I also mentioned that they too have a rate of striking somewhere around the rate which is Newington. 34, is
34 for Kings.
And they're making every stroke count. Well, what a great race. Kings have started to make their move. It's at this point, I believe, that they feel they just have to hang on to the advantage they've taken. St Ignatius College in station number 2 is certainly well with them, but it's Kings with good, long, strong blade work, good body swing, and they're determined to keep the lead, which appears to be about a half a length at this point. But over on the western side, in that station number 7, Newington too are putting in some pretty good effort and a good blade work and good run between strokes. It's in those 3 stations that we're seeing the lead develop. Just looking at the other crews, on the far side in station number 8, Scots was dropping back to about 4th, but we still see Kings and St Ignatius and Newington battling for the lead.
Kings still on 34 through these middle stages. Newington on 34, 35. They've been very consistent there, and the Newington stroke, they're clearing well. The Newington boat there. Scots improving their position. Scots have now moved. Scots in station 8 have moved into 3rd position and past St Ignatius. Scots rating just a little higher than Newington though. Scots on about 36.
Thank you, John, for those comments. And I'm just noticing as you spoke the slightly brighter attack which King's School is having, but still the challenge is over there from station number 7 from Newington. Newington, as you say, getting good lock-up of the blade in the water, good run, and they're certainly making every stroke count, but Kings did appear to be just a little brighter in the water, but never mind, it's a fair way to go in this event, and it's still a very, very good race indeed. Newington at this stage also making an effort, a legs effort, and a real strong challenge here to move up. At St Ignatius College, the early leaders, perhaps just lacking that zip in the water that they had initially, and they are starting to trail both King's School and rowing in station number 3, and of course, as mentioned earlier, Newington on the far side. A great race for this boat race. They always are great races, but they develop into certain patterns. And as we see at the moment, on that far side, Scots College in station number 8 is just trailing the Newington crew in station number 7. What a great race by Newington, a great race as we come back across the course to Kings, still holding something like 3/4 of a length lead over Newington. And in station number 2, St Ignatius College is dropping back in 3rd place. Just before we do cross for the final time to the shore commentators, let's have another look. The leaders, St Ignatius is trailing from Kings, the clear leaders, whilst over on the western bank, Newington is still in 3rd position as we cross to the shore commentators.
Well, with just over a 1/4 of a mile to go, it's the Kings School at the moment. Kings are on 35. They've rowed a great race. They've taken it all the way down, and the King's School at the moment would be leading by about a half a length it would be from St Ignatius College. Then across in 3rd place, and about a length and a half further back would be Newington College. Back from them would come Shaw, Sydney Grammar School, Scots College, St Joseph's College and Sydney High. But the race at the moment looks to be Kings. The only challenge that looks as though it's coming now could be from St Ignatius and Newington. But at this stage, the King's School in the lead, the Kings in the centre of the river, rowing along magnificently and very powerfully. It's the King's School at this stage with just about 250 metres to go. It's the King's School leading from St Ignatius College, or from Newington it would be, then coming behind them St Ignatius College, a little further back then to the Scots College, and then back from them comes Sydney High School, Shaw, and then further back to Sydney Grammar School and St Joseph's College. About 150 metres to go in the head of the river for 1980, and the King's School have got this one at this stage. The only threat that looks as though it might come is from Newington, who are finishing strongly now, and then in 3rd place the Scots College is finishing on. Then about 2.5 lengths further back we have St Ignatius College, then comes Shaw, and then High, then behind them Sydney Grammar Grammar School, and then St Joseph's College. It's King's School in front with about 70 metres to go. King's School in front by about half a length from Newington College, and then only a third of a length back then to Scots College. But these crews have come right out now. There's only about 50 metres to go, and the King's School in front. They gave a win the Head of the River. King's School come out now to about a 3/4 of a length margin, and King's School will cross the line to win the Head of the River. Second will be Newington College, a magnificent row. Third then comes the Scots College, a half a length back. Then comes St Ignatius College, a length and 3/4 further back. Then will be Shaw, then St Joseph's College, and then Sydney Grammar School, and then Sydney High School. Well, it was a great tactical race, and full marks to the King's School for a magnificent row, because they made it a race all the way, and we think that the time is around about 7:50, which would be magnificent in the conditions. Now, the King's School crew, a great row. They were coached by Kenson Heaps, and what a magnificent effort that was. The stroke man of the King's School crew was Joe Sergi. In the 7 seat was Richard Goodwood. Hugh Nivison was 6. Andrew Pilcher was 5. Rod Knight was 4. Peter Capel was 3. Peter Mac Smith was 2. Bill Wern was bow, and the coxswain, if we can have a look at that elated coxswain there in the King's School boat, Lachlan McCain.
Well, I did hear that St Ignatius, favourite for this event, they considered the King's School the dark horse of the event.
Well, they've proven quite right.
Yes.
The King's School have been racing all through the season, but there really hasn't been the exceptional performances in the last few weeks. But you can't beat a performance like that, because it was a great tactical row, a big crew. It averaged 82 kilograms, which is about 12 stone 12, and you've got to be that big and tough, really, to win the Head of the River.